This paper is about preferences and rules. Preferences are something that we're either born with or that we passively absorb from others. Values is just another word for preferences, usually preferences of the loftier kind. A rule as a norm, by contrast, is a prescription to which we deliberately submit for fear of punishment or in the hope of a reward. Therefore, compliance with a norm or rule depends not only on the size of the penalty or of the reward, but also with our preferences. Bizine and Verdier, 2001, and Tabellini, 2008, assume that parents animated by either a paternalistic form of altruism or by some form of public-mindedness undertake costly actions in order to transmit their values onto their offspring. These values are then modified by social interaction between their children and children of other parents. But there is also another literature which explains the norm, the emergence of parity-improving norms, that it is in the interest of every member of a given community, a country, a village, a family, that the rules should be obeyed. In my 1993 and 2006 articles, I demonstrate that the family rule requiring young people to support their elderly parents, if the latter obey the same rule in their turn, may be self-enforcing and renegotiation proof. All these contributions I mentioned, assume that the parental couple acts as if they were one person. In an article with co-authors published in 2017, we demonstrate that the same may apply if the couple consists of two distinct people with different preferences and interests who nash bargain over the allocation of their time and earnings. The article also demonstrates that if a young person's taste for a good without perfect market substitutes, which is filial attention, if this taste is such that it is in her or his interest to comply with the family rule in question, and two, the preference parameters is observable before marriage, then he or she, the young person we're talking about, will marry a like-minded young person. In other words, practice homogamy. And the couple will then transmit their common preferences onto their offspring. If that is the case, preferences and rules do not evolve across generations. The present paper examines the opposite case where the taste in question is not observable before marriage. And consequently, the matching is random where that parameter is concerned. In this case, preferences may evolve as a result of cross-marriages, marriages between persons with different tastes, but rules may persist. This approach links together matching, preferences, and rules. The model goes like that. People are young in period 1, old in period 2. We demonstrate that everybody marries because marriage is the only way of procuring this taste, this filial attention, which has no perfect substitutes. In period 1, the couple formed by a particular woman F and a particular man M have a daughter D and a son S. Utility depends on their consumption of market goods in the two periods, and also on attention, denoted by A, that they receive from their children D and S in period 2, i.e. when the parents are old. Market goods, remember, are not a perfect substitute for filial attention. The utility function looks like this. And a parameter in this utility function is delta, which measures the taste for the good that we call filial attention. The couple Nash bargain subject to their period budget constraints, okay, where S is saving, W is the wage rate, R the interest factor, and capital T is defined as a transfer from M to F in period 1. But this transfer may be positive, negative, or zero. Given that delta is inherited from or inculcated by parents, and I's parents are called capital F and capital M, it seems reasonable to assume that this trait is normally distributed around the mean of F and M's taste for filial attention. For simplicity, we assume that a person's delta is actually equal to the mean of their parents' delta, not just normally distributed around that mean. This doesn't make a lot of difference in the long run. If couples are drawn at random from the entire population, we show that the distribution of delta converges in an almost certainly finite number of generations to a single value, equal to the mean of the original distribution. Alternatively, if the matching is restricted to a particular subpopulation, identifiable by visible traits such as religion or color of the skin, in other words, if members of a certain population are not allowed to marry outside their group, then different subpopulations converge to different values of delta in the long run. We demonstrate that the rule requiring a couple to provide specified amounts of attention to their elderly parents is self-enforcing and renegotiation proof if the couple's deltas jointly satisfy a certain condition, and if the couple expects that the same condition will hold also where the couples that their children will form in the next period, in the next generation, will form at random with children of other couples. Now, this second clause arises because F and M, today's parents, can anticipate their children's tastes. They know that there will be the mean of their own, but they don't know, of course, who their children will marry, and therefore what their children's partners will feel like about giving assistance to parents. Assuming rational expectations, we demonstrate that the share of the young who obey the rule in question in any given generation is determined simultaneously with the distribution of delta in the subsequent generation. If a self-enforcing and renegotiation-proof rule prescribing the transfers I said from child K to parent I and from parent I to grandparent H exists, given the wage rate W, the rule is as follows. Okay, the amount transferred is inversely proportional to the wage rate, which represents the opportunity cost of providing attention. Such a rule may exist for everybody, for nobody, or for some members of some generations and not for others. It may thus be disobeyed by a number of generations and then re-emerge. We demonstrate that for each initial distribution of delta, there is a range of W such that the rule will apply for everybody from a certain generation onwards. Given that filial attention has no perfect substitutes, policies which reduce the share of the population who give attention to their elderly parents may be justified only on distributional grounds. Thank you.